Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India, I welcome you all to the annual flagship event, the 15th Urban Mobility India Conference 2022. The theme of the conference is Azadi at the rate 75, Sustainable Atmanirbhar Urban Mobility. I welcome you all to the inaugural session presided over by Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, Shri Elias George, and Honorable Union Minister, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, for gracing the occasion. In the presence of Shri Elias George, National Head, Government and Public Services, KPMG in India, Shri Surendra Kumar Bagde, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India, Shri Loknath Behra, Managing Director, Kochi Metro Rail Limited, on the dais, and other dignitaries and delegates of the dais. I welcome Honorable Union Minister, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, onto the stage, along with Shri Elias George, Dr. Surendra Kumar Bagde, Shri Loknath Behra. Let us all raise for lighting the traditional lamp and starting the conference. Thank you, sir. Now, may I request respected Secretary Transport, Government of Kerala, Sri Biju Prabhakar, to extend a formal welcome to the dignitaries and also give an opening statement.
Government and Public Services, KPMG in India, Shri Loknath Behra, the former State Police Chief and the present Managing Director of Kochi Metro Limited, which is hosting this Urban Mobility, the 3-day program starting today at the Hotel Grand Hyatt Bolgatti, Kochi. The annual Urban Mobility India UMI Conference and Expo is a flagship event organized by the Ministry of
Kochi Metro, Sri Behra. Dear friends and colleagues, as we all know, the beating heart of India is supposed to be in our villages, but it's our cities which are going to be our salvation. Given that more than 1/3 of India's population resides in our cities. And again, I will just to sort of remind everybody the famous quote by the mayor of Bogota, who said that, developed...
May I now invite Honorable Union Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, to illuminate us with his outlook and perspectives and deliver his address.
Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Pinarayi Vijayan ji, my friend and collaborator, Shri Elias George ji, Head of Government and Public Services in KPMG, Dr. Surendra Kumar Bagde ji, my colleague, Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Shri Biju Prabhakar ji, Principal Secretary, Department of Transport, the State Government, Shri Loknath Behra ji, Managing Director, Kochi Metro Rail Corporation, distinguished guests and dignitaries who have joined this program. Let me first of all say how happy I am that this 15th edition of the Urban Mobility India Conference and Exhibition is being organized in the beautiful city of Kochi. I express this happiness because Kochi has distinguished itself as an exemplar city for promoting seamless public transportation in urban areas. I'm also particularly happy this morning because I see not only in the first row but in other rows, many friends and colleagues whom I have had the privilege of getting to know in the last 5 years that I have been Minister for Urban Transport, and about whose contribution to the organization and success of the ventures that we are undertaking in public transportation, particularly the metro system, I think needs to be applauded. I must share with you a personal experience. When I was a young diplomat, at the age of 22 or so, 22, 23, I went on my first posting to Tokyo. And I saw the contribution that the metro system was making in the city of Tokyo, which is a large polis. It was then also, and I am talking about the year 1976 beginning. It had a fairly heavy ridership in terms of numbers, was extremely well organized. And I used to wonder when we in India will embark on that journey. And the other day, I must share with you, when I was present with the Honorable Prime Minister at the inauguration of an urban transport thing. I think it was the Vande Bharat train from Ahmedabad to Mumbai, and I happened to recall and saying that now we are climbing the ladder of countries which are in the top few in terms of kilometrage on metro lines. I think we have reached 810 or so, if I am not mistaken. And we will soon have more kilometrage of metro lines than Japan, South Korea, and we will even catch up with the United States. I know China is way ahead. But one of the things that the Honorable Prime Minister said is that, and I think all of us should acknowledge, we have been able to learn from the experience of other countries. And today the metro lines that we are introducing, the kind of systems that we are placing are incorporating the best practices that the others had. And in turn, I think our process of indigenization is going to contribute to also an experience we will be able to share with other countries placed in the similar level of the developmental ladder. And I must again share with you a sense of satisfaction that I get, having been now associated with urban transport and the evolution of our metro systems and other urban transport systems over a period of 5 years, that when and 5 years is a long period. You can go to when the start of the process was done and you reach within a few years to the inauguration. Now, for instance, you see the ridership in Delhi Metro. It used to be 65 lakhs before the pandemic. We are fast approaching that. I see other metro systems in operation. I think the metro system in Kochi has about 80,000. I went recently to some other states. There is a widespread public acceptance of the need for efficient public transportation and the demands that we get from the state governments, because these are all capital intensive systems. There is participation of multilateral funding agencies, there is a contribution by the central government, but it has become almost a matter of pride for state governments to want metro systems in their urban centers. To which our response always has been that we encourage that, but equally we encourage putting in place those kinds of systems which are better suited. So I think in some cities, instead of Metro system, metro light or neo metro may be more appropriate, but we are learning as we go along. In the case of the KMRC, I want to congratulate them on the innovative Kochi water metro project, which will connect 10 islands through 15 routes and will cater to a daily ridership of more than 100,000 people across 78 kilometers of network. Not only will the water metro revive the traditional water trade and travel routes, once ubiquitous in the city, it will also provide a cheaper and more sustainable alternative to daily commuters. Inland water transport is inherently more energy efficient than road or rail transport, and such measures will go a long way in securing the ecological harmony in the state that is known globally as God's own country. I have the privilege at this point of time of being associated with two ministries, Housing and Urban Affairs and also Petroleum and Natural Gas. I can share with you that the kind of contribution that the use of sustainable transport can make to our overall problems dealing with environmental pollution is something we should not underestimate. Most of you deal with urban transport, but I'm relatively sure that if I were to ask you a question as to how many people go to the petrol bunk every morning to tank up in whichever form of transport they're using, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, or four-wheelers, I'm reasonably sure not many amongst you would know, because that's not where you are focused. Anybody wants to take a guess? Okay. At least my friend Elias is not guessing, but let me just share with you that 60 million people, 60 million people go to petrol bunks every morning or during the course of a day to fill up. Do you know how many million barrels of crude oil we consume in a day? Yes, he would know, but absolutely correct. India consumes 5 million barrels of crude oil in a day. The global rate of growth in demand is about 1%, but the Indian rate of growth is 3%. Just now we are below global per capita consumption, but we are not only fast catching up, we will go ahead. Therefore, don't be surprised that in the coming few years, our daily consumption will go up from 5 million barrels to 6.5, 7 million barrels. Equally, not many of us are familiar with the silent revolution that is taking place. Just now I was seeing this exhibition outside, and there was a three-wheeler rickshaw. And I asked the KMRC managing director, I said, show me where the battery is and what is the system you have in place here. And he told me that the battery system that they have. Why am I telling you this? Because we did a survey and we found that 70% of the traffic on our roads is two-wheelers and three-wheelers. Those two-wheelers and three-wheelers, bulk of them are on what are called replaceable batteries. So the technological revolution which is taking place there, here the system being followed is that the three-wheeler goes and charges at the station and spends 15-30 minutes. In other parts of the country, it's different. You just go there, take out your replaceable battery, put it in, take out another one, fix it and leave. With no wastage of time. We were doing, I'm just mentioning this as one example, we were doing 1.4% of biofuel blending in the year 2014 when the Honorable Prime Minister assumed responsibility. We had 10% biofuel blending target for November 2020. I'm very happy to share with you that 5 months before that target, we already achieved 10% biofuel blending. We had a target of 20% biofuel blending by 2030. We have brought that target date faster, and we will do it by 2024 or 25, in 2 years from now. We will have E20 blended fuel available as a pilot project in our petrol bunks in a few months' time, before April of next year. We are making ethanol not just from sugar, we are making ethanol now from agricultural waste, from other feeds like demolition waste, from bamboo, rice husk, broken grain. Last year, based on energy prices in the world, 10% blending resulted in a saving of 40,000 crores. I'm mentioning these by way of an example. Where does the metro system fit in? I completely endorse what my friend, the previous speaker, said. And I think what I draw inspiration from is that we will reach a stage in which a professional, including all of you sitting in the front row, will one day decide that they are not going to use your personal transport to go to work, but you will leave your home, take advantage of the last mile connectivity, get into a metro, go to your place of work, and reach your place of work in 1/3 the time in an equal comfort and energy efficiency multiplied 70 times over. I think the government has been very clear in terms of its own philosophy that what we want to do is to move people around. Therefore, when I see, and in one way it is a sign of an economy which is doing well, when I see the sale of expensive vehicles and SUVs, etc., scoring up, that I think is a segment of our population indulging itself in terms of demonstrating what money can buy. But from the point of view of a person who now has to sit and think about these, along with my friend Mr. Agarwal and all of you sitting here, I would much rather that we allow those people to indulge themselves, but we produce very efficient public transport systems like the Delhi Metro. I'm paying a tribute to my predecessor, who, when he was Minister for Urban Affairs, before he became the Vice President of India, very often he would leave the personal car to take a metro to go to the airport. I also have done this once or twice, but then I think back and say, how much more dislocation am I causing? Because if my having to use a metro means that I have to position my car at the other end, in any case to pick me up from the metro station to take me to the airport, then the car has consumed as much petrol, so I'm not saving anything. But I'm pretty sure that the kind of analogy that the previous speaker was giving, where you have prime ministers of country, you have senior ministers with their briefcase in hand, get into a queue and get on a public tube in the UK or elsewhere. But for that, we have to take certain other steps. Last mile connectivity in particular, and that kind of tweaking in the ecosystem of public transport, which I think we are not only capable of doing, but which is in process. My own personal view is that the real revolution, look, we can sit today and gloat over our achievements, that in the year 2002 we were at nil point. If you leave aside the Calcutta Metro, which was a railway run operation. We started at zero in 2002, we are at 810 kilometers. The rate at which we are going, I'm confident we will go past the Japanese kilometrage, the South Korean kilometrage, and even the US. Why? Because those are mature systems. They are mature systems. They may or may not add. They will modernize their systems, they will upgrade them. But I don't see them adding more, because they're already at the point where it is possible for somebody living in Connecticut, even somebody very well-to-do, to just go and take his or her car, drop it at the metro station, take a train into Manhattan and, walk to office. But in India, the tier 2 and tier 3 cities and the other metropolitans, the systems will grow, as will the Kochi Metro with the next 12.8. But the other kind of tweaking that we are having to do, I think that has already begun. Now, it's interesting that our discussion today is taking place, I think, 2 or 3 days before the COP27 meeting. And the rate at which targets are being set for meeting sustainability objectives. And I was personally delighted when the Honorable Prime Minister made those commitments in Glasgow. Because we as a system function when we have a deadline. And I was even more delighted when my oil companies set themselves even more ambitious targets. Green hydrogen clearly is the name of the game, and that is where the future will lie. I told you about electric cars, whilst the energy prices were shooting up last year for whatever reason, I don't want to go into a discussion, cut in production by the OPEC plus, billions of dollars was coming into India in the electric vehicles, battery electric vehicles ecosystem. The figure in 21-22 was about $1.9 billion. I saw the figures for the first 9 months, it was about $900 million already, and this may not even take into account many other projects about which we don't know. The rollout of electric cars will take place, electric vehicles will take place at a very fast rate. Equally, we should take great pride that Indian entities have entered into agreement to sell green ammonia to companies in Germany, to Singapore. They are having a new electricity turbines from GE, they're using Indian green ammonia. This evening in Delhi, I will be participating in a curtain raiser for a F1 event which is going to use electric vehicles. So there is a silent revolution taking place. But what are we building towards? I think a good target to keep in mind is 2047. Why do I say 2047? We will be 100 years old as an independent country. But more than that, the Honorable Prime Minister has set 5 broad objectives. The main one of which is that we should be a Viksit Desh or a developed country by 2047. And I'm reasonably sure that at the rate at which we are going, we are the 5th largest economy today. We will be the 3rd largest economy by 2030. But well before 2047, we will be a developed country. What will that require in terms of urban transport? So when you meet in your 10 technical sessions, in your breakaway groups, I think the time has come for us to start applying ourselves in terms of our own thinking and to think big. I was having a little bit of a brainstorming with my colleagues this morning when Jaideep, our nodal point in the ministry, I said, what is your target for 2047? Informally. He said, well, we are talking about 5,000 kilometers. Well, if you're 810 kilometers today with another 1,000 kilometers under construction, that's 2,000. Will the time from now to 2047 be 5,000? I mean, I always applaud a civil servant's mature, conservative approach. But I had the same problem when I was civil aviation minister. You know, my secretary used to tell me, we have 760 aircraft in the sky today. By such and such year, we'll have 1,200. I said, I'm not a betting man, but I'm happy to take a bet with you. It'll not be 1,200, it'll be 2,000. Now, if you go around our airports and see how the planes are chock-a-block full, many of the aircraft are not being utilized, not because they don't want to use the aircraft. There are no parking slots. After Jewar Airport is built on the outskirts of Delhi, the combined traffic that will be carried by Indira Gandhi International Airport and Jewar together will be more than Heathrow, Gatwick and Stansted, which is 140 million passengers a day. I'm making points which are they are not rocket science, they're absolutely staring you. All right, if we have 140 million passengers which our civil aviation carriers will carry, let's say between Delhi and Jewar, I ask you the question, what kind of urban mobility do you require there on the ground? So I think the time has come, and I'm going to conclude myself with that. You have global experts here, you have funding agencies, you have people with experience. Start looking at what the India of 2047, the Honorable Prime Minister says the colonial mindset should go, but I think a very ambitious urban transport related issue comes up. And that issue is, there is no way we can do it on fossil fuel. That the other ministry of mine will have to deal with. That's why our OMCs are going into green hydrogen with vengeance. Because for green hydrogen, you need to create demand. Yes, that was coming. You need to scale up, and you must be able then to take advantage of the fact that green hydrogen will succeed because you have a consumption base here. Green hydrogen will not lend itself to storage and transportation. Equally, if we are going into 20% biofuel blending by 24-25, and it's a cleaner fuel, it takes advantage of the global availability of and plenty of sunshine and land. I think there is a revolution which is going on, and I count on all of you to put your, thinking caps on what it will mean, so that between now and the 16th edition of this conference, whenever it takes place and wherever it takes place, we can start preparing the roadmap for what urban transport will look like in 2047. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
इनवर्ड लुकिंग नहीं है। ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी को ज्यादा रेजिलिएंट, ज्यादा स्टेबल बनाने के लिए, विश्व में शांति के लिए एक सक्षम भारत का निर्माण ही इसका लक्ष्य है।
Encompassing the spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam at COP26, one of India's Panchamrit net zero by 2017 is a promising step for greener mobility solutions towards realization of Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat.
The Mobility India Conference, which is established. Let me welcome you all to God's own country. I believe that Kerala is the right place to host this conference, as we are the second most urbanized state in India, with 47.7% of our population living in urban areas. Even though we are second in urbanization, the difference between urban and rural is too narrow here. The entire stretch of the state can be considered as a semi-urban continuum with all the basic facilities available irrespective of the urban-rural divide. Moreover, we have the highest density of vehicles in India at 420 per square kilometer, and Kochi has the highest density of vehicles among the cities and towns of Kerala. It is a matter of great pride for us that we have been featured as one of the best states in almost all the status reports Niti Aayog and other national and international agencies have published, be it in education, health, poverty, housing, law and order. Kerala's female fertility rate and infant mortality rate are at par, if not better than that of the developed nations. Its workforce is spread across the world, bringing in serious contributions to the country's exchequer through the exchange and remittance of foreign currency. Rapid urbanization is a challenge for a state like Kerala. With a high density of both people and vehicles, we have to think differently and adopt out-of-the-box solutions to address the problems related to urban mobility. Ease of living is directly connected to ease of mobility. Therefore, the Government of Kerala has undertaken many steps to develop and put in place a seamless integrated multimodal public transport system. Kochi, our biggest and busiest city, has already taken the initial steps in achieving an integrated transport system by connecting Kochi Metro, Kochi Water Metro and its feeder bus services. We are in the process of improving the first mile and last mile connectivity and promoting non-motorized transport systems. Cutting-edge technology is being utilized so that seamless movement using unified ticketing solutions would be possible. It is a model worth emulating in other parts of the country. The Kochi Metro can be seen as the heart of the integrated multimodal public transport system being developed for the city. It was just 2 months back that its second phase was inaugurated. In its third phase, it will get connected to the Cochin airport. We have also contemplated taking the Kochi Metro to the suburbs of the city, as well as to Marine Drive and the High Court. Once all that materializes, it will be robust and self-sustainable, providing an integrated mass transport system to Kochiites. In various ways, Kochi, the queen of the Arabian Sea, is a unique city in the country. It is surrounded by water bodies and has many islands. Therefore, in ensuring integration of the public transport systems in the city, water transport has been accorded a pride of place. It is essential in terms of providing a clean and sustainable transport option. It fits in neatly with our efforts to connect various modes of transport like air, rain, road and water, as Kochi is a city in which people actively use all such modes. The Kochi Water Metro with solar-powered air-conditioned boats is the first of its kind in the country. It will be the metro for the island residents, connecting them to prosperity with high comfort and safety. The Kochi Water Metro would ensure a jump in tourism activities in all the beautiful islands around. Thus, it will bring more direct and indirect employment and thereby cause a paradigm shift in the economic upliftment of the inhabitants of these islands. We believe that the Kochi Water Metro is a unique project which can be introduced in other parts of the country too. It is especially suited to Kerala considering our abundance of water bodies. Therefore, we are conducting studies in Kollam and Alappuzha. The Kochi Open Mobility Network is being implemented. It is an open mobility network based on the Beacon protocol that will help integration easier by making various service providers interoperable and discoverable. Sustainability is at the heart of our urban mobility solutions. Take Kochi Metro, for instance. It is giving a major thrust to rainwater harvesting and solar power, 55% of KMRL's power requirements are met through its solar plants, one of the highest in the country by any standards. KMRL also targets to be energy neutral at the earliest. The Cochin Shipyard Limited is being a research-based project for hydrogen fuel cell boats, and it is expected to be very useful for Kochi Water Metro. In order to promote green energy, the government of Kerala has allotted rupees 10 crores this year to KMRL to procure hydrogen fuel and buses running on it. We are hopeful of further assistance from the Government of India in our green initiative surrounding mobility. Without a policy that enables infrastructure, development will be lopsided. Kerala was one of the first few states in India to come up with an ambitious EV policy back in 2018. We have set targets and drawn detailed roadmaps for the faster adoption of electric mobility in the state. The government of Kerala offers a subsidy of rupees 30,000 for e-autos in order to bridge the viability gap of early adopters of electric mobility in public transportation. In this year's budget, we have announced rupees 15,000 as subsidy for retrofitting old diesel auto rickshaws with electric motor and battery. Electric vehicles also enjoy a substantial reduction of road tax, with the tax completely exempted for e-autos for the first 5 years. Desirous of developing a robust charging infrastructure in Kerala, the state government has been disbursing viability gap funding to charging stations. The Kerala State Electricity Board has pioneered the concept of electricity pole charging. In an attempt to provide public charging facilities to electric auto rickshaws and two-wheelers, they are in the process of setting up 1,500 chargers across the state. The Kerala State Road Transport Corporation is inducting electric buses into its fleet and looking forward to replace more internal combustion engine buses in the coming months. In another first in the country, the enforcement wing of Kerala Motor Vehicles Department has deployed around 70 electric cars for scores engaged in inspections. In 2019, the government of Kerala had formed a unified metropolitan transport authority for the state to plan and manage the institutional role in achieving the integration of various transport systems. Our goal is to transform the public transportation in the entire state. We have approved light metro for the cities of Thiruvananthapuram and Kozhikode, which are our second and third populous cities. I gather that the comprehensive mobility plans for both the cities are being prepared as a prelude to the starting of light metro by Urban Mass Transit Company, a Government of India outfit. I am optimistic that we will get all support from the Government of India in the implementation of light metro in Thiruvananthapuram and Kozhikode. The national waterway connecting the north and south ends of Kerala is being renovated. National highway development in the state is going ahead in full swing. Of the infrastructure projects worth rupees 73,000 crore that we have taken up through the Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board over the last 6.5 years. Rupees 34,893 crore is being spent in various projects that facilitate mobility. At the level of urbanization that we are seeing in the country, urban planning and the planning of urban mobility are very crucial to tackle the emerging challenges. As far as Kerala is concerned, we are committed to prepare a complete master plan for our cities by 2026. It will be a sustainable and resilient city development plan, and we intend to do it in consultation with the best urban planners and experts available in the country. We believe that public transport has to be sustainable, accessible, equitable, and affordable. We are working towards ensuring the same. This conference is certainly a great opportunity for us to understand the best practices and latest technologies available across the globe, which would help us in achieving our goals. Kerala is keen to learn from all of you who have gathered here. I conclude by thanking the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India, for the trust they reposed in Kerala and Kochi for the conduct of this important conference. I also place on record our gratitude to Shri Hardeep Singh Puri for his continuous support to the development works in Kerala. I formally declare this 15th Urban Mobility India Conference inaugurated. Thank you.
Honorable and esteemed dignitaries on the dais, delegates and friends. All of us today are in God's own country. And Kochi is the necklace of the God. Long back, when I was the police commissioner here, I spent around 4.5 years as police commissioner of this city. And I know this city ins and out, though I don't belong to this place. This is the most innovative, most intellectually correct city I have ever seen. And this is the right place any innovation on transport or traffic can take place, because the transport system in Kochi is very, very interesting, starting from what we call the country boats and ending in the most innovative water metro. Well, I assure the Honorable Minister, sir, what a great speech. I really liked when he spoke extempore, from the heart. And what a vision, that by 2047, can we dispense with our private vehicles and depend fully on public transport? And that can be done. It is his wish and vision, and all of us have to work together to achieve that. Sir, I can assure you, sir, that you have talked about intermodal and integration of the transport system. We will show the way. We are very, very actually advanced in this stage, and by another 6-7 months, we'll show you the newest form of technology, how the integration can be done with cost effectiveness. For that, we are using the artificial intelligence and all those, which will be all on the experimental stage right now, sir. So thank you for a very profoundly interesting, heavy, and actually kick-starting speech. Sir, we, on behalf of the ministry, your ministry, KMRL, state government, and all the delegates and guests present here, thank you profusely for a great speech and for actually co-inaugurating this function. Honorable Chief Minister talked about innovations, integrations, etc. Very futuristic things also said. His dispositions all the time remained very advanced. In fact, he once asked me how to actually use the AI in the metro operations. We are actually working with some universities on this particular work. So I thank him for joining us from Trivandrum. Due to some exigency, he could not actually come. Initially, he planned to come, but he said he will join through the VC to virtually. Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking speech in the inaugural section. And as Mr. Elias George, I can tell you one thing, because he is actually a role model for various people here, bureaucrats, police officers, etc. He is very innovative from his, sub-collector days. Both madam and sir, they both are actually IAS officers, both worked in Government of India as well as in Government of Kerala. Thank you, sir, for a very interesting speech. And in fact, Water Metro was initiated by him. We only actually took it forward. So, sir, thank you for actually spending time. And whereas Dr. Bagde, Sri Jaideep, and Serene, who did the comparing, all distinguished guests and delegates who are with us today, thank you very much. I wish all of you who have come from outside an enjoyable, intellectually exciting, and culturally fulfilling stay in the necklace of the Queen called Kochi, and that is the beauty. And if you can get a little time out, please go outside to see how beautiful it is. And I also thank various people who worked facelessly, hotel people, the event managers, many people facelessly for their contributions. And we did it quite fast. And thank you for, braving the odds and doing this. And I have to make a small announcement. Today evening, there will be a cultural program for all of you. You can kindly attend. And after that, the invitees will be attending a dinner hosted by the state government. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all the distinguished guests and keynote speaker in the inaugural session for setting the tone and context for further discussions for next 3-day deliberations with your thought-provoking views and future perspectives. Thank you all.